that's red. She's got the spices, smile so bright. Cooking with Judith right by my side. By my side. Chop, chop, sizzle, frying pan heat. From pancakes to a fancy feast. Cooking with Judith, fun to say the least. The least.
Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith, and today I'm going to make an iconic Canadian dish, which actually started in Quebec, so I should say iconic Quebecois dish, if I can get my tongue around that. Poutine. And if you're from Quebec, you're going to be yelling at your screen that I said it wrong. I'm sorry, my French accent is awful. Most of the people I know pronounce it poutine. So, I'm sticking with that. My apologies. Anyway, these days, you can find poutine with almost anything on top of it. The original was fries, cheese curds, and gravy. And it was a specific type of gravy. Today, I've seen it with braised meats, lamb, curries. I've even seen it made with tater tots, which begs the question, is that still a poutine? I am going to do a fabulous version with some braised short ribs. I've got short ribs, I'm going to use a little bit of rosemary, some garlic, onion, and beef stock. And that's what we're going to make our gravy with as well. And then, of course, russet potatoes to make the fries. So let's get started. To braise our short ribs, I just cut half a yellow onion in quarters, or wedges, and I'm going to just peel my garlic cloves. I've got 4 large garlic cloves, which I'm just going to peel and leave the cloves whole. Cut up. You just put your short ribs in a pan, put your garlic and your onions in. There's another onion. Get that bit out. Okay. And then we're going to pour in our beef stock. You could brown your short ribs first. I'm not going to today. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit. Actually, let me check that stock. I'm not sure how salty it is. Not terribly. So I'm going to sprinkle a little salt and pepper on there. And this is just coarse salt and peppercorns that I have crushed in the mortar and pestle. So I'm going to cover my pan just with some foil. And get a good tight seal around. And this will go in the oven at 325. Okay, for our French fries, as I said, we have russet potato. And I'm just going to cut it like that to get a flat edge. And then I'm cutting it about a ½ inch thick. Maybe not quite. And then about the same thickness. That way, that one got a little away from me. Okay. So, slightly less than a ½ inch, or a little less than the thickness that I cut the first time. So you get some nice even fries. So then you just want to put them in some cold water, remove the excess starch, and I like to triple fry my fries. I know a lot of people rave about double fried, but I find they come out beautifully crispy and wonderful fluffy inside if I triple fry them. So the first fry is basically just a blanch. Very low temperature for just about 4 minutes. The next one, slightly higher temperature, again about 4 minutes. Or just until they're starting to look like they're crisping. Starting to brown. Then the third one, finish them off. Higher temperature, and it only takes another 4 to 5 minutes or so to get the final product. Okay, so when you're ready to start cooking your French fries, We want to take them out of the water. Now, the reason for the water is to remove excess starch. And that will prevent them from becoming gummy and chewy. It will get you a nice, crispy exterior and fluffy interior. So, we need to pull them out of the water and dry them. You don't want to be putting water in your deep fry oil. Especially not if you expect to reuse it. So there's our first fry. It was 4 minutes at 325. As you can see, they're still white. They're just starting to go opaque on the edges. So that is exactly perfect. We have very nearly completed French fries. They only need that last fry in the hot oil to keep them crispy and yummy. But we don't want to do that before our short ribs and our gravy is ready. Okay, the aroma of this in the oven has been enticing me all afternoon. Smells so good. Be very careful lifting the foil as it is hot. You need to see how well our short ribs have cooked, how tender they are. They are shreddable. Honestly, they could do with another hour in the oven. But I am really, really hungry. So, the decision is, do we cook it longer? Okay, so we're going to transfer our juices into a pot. We're going to strain it. We do want our gravy as smooth as possible. So we're straining it through a sieve into a pot. So we're going to bring that to a simmer, and we are going to add a slurry of flour and water. Okay, now that we've got this up to a good bubble, we're going to turn the heat down. Give our slurry a little mix. Introduce it to our gravy. Now we want to turn this down fairly low because we don't want it scorching on the bottom. And we're going to mix it quite regularly. It doesn't have to be continuously. And our fries need to go back in. So, 375 for 3 to 4 minutes. While we get our gravy done. So our next step is the cheese curds. But whatever you do, you don't want these to go in cold. If they're not room temperature, put them in the microwave for a second or two, just to warm them up. Because if they're cold, that's going to kind of ruin the dish. Okay, time to assemble. French fries in the bottom. Warmed or room temperature. Cheese curds, and then break them up. You don't need a huge big ones. On top of that. And gravy. And I'm going to put in my short rib, some onion, and garlic, I think I ate all the garlic, and a little more gravy. So we have Poutine, or it is French fries, gravy, always been one of my favorites, with cheese curds, and now you can get it with pretty much any topping you would ever want. I have done short ribs, and braised them for several hours, and they're wonderful. And I realized I used the forks that I was cooking with rather than the forks that I set out for eating with. That's okay. And the cheese is starting to stretch. Which makes everything even more wonderful. Soak that meat in the gravy. That's a really nice cheese stretch there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make poutine at home. It is so good. And you can top it with your favorite flavors, your favorite sauces. Apparently, there is no limit. I love this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you again soon with a new video.